Namaskar. Welcome to the special transmission coming jointly from Ganeshot and P Gurus. I have with me General Ravi Shankar, and we are going to be talking about this tariff game that is being played by Trump. You're seeing a lot of threats. In fact, yesterday you had Stephen Miller. I think he's the deputy chief of staff, and he also has one other role. And he also said that India cheats on H-1B. So they're trying to tie in one or two other things also with this. Essentially, US is on a rant against India. How is India responding? We have a response from the MEA that we're going to cover, and we're going to analyze how things are going to go the way forward from this point forward. Let's welcome General Ravi Shankar. Namaskar, sir. How are you?
Namaskar. Thanks a lot, and it's nice to be on a morning show with you.
Yes, indeed, sir. The pleasure is all mine. And thank you so much for agreeing so late last night to do this thing, because things are getting a little bit out of hand, at least if you look at the war of words going on. But if you look at it, it's mostly one direction in US to India. So here's the latest one that salvo from Trump on August 4th, that he's saying that India is buying massive amounts of Russian oil, and then they are selling it in the open market for big profits, blah, 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 blah. I think this question was settled by MEA Dr. Jaishankar in one of the questions that he answered in some conference in Europe, where they said, how dare you buy oil from Russia? And he said that our monthly drawdown from Russia is equal to 1 day's drawdown for the Western Europe, which shut them up. If you remember, I'm not paraphrasing the exact word, it words to that effect. So this has been already answered. Be that as it may, what is exactly the game plan here? Because I told you about Stephen Miller also. What's the game plan here, sir?
Okay, fine. Before I start, I must thank you to inviting me on this morning show. I would have done this anyway. It's a great thing, but we're doing it jointly. One. Number two, I'll see a lot of comments who've been following what I've been doing, because for the past 48 hours, I've been virtually off the air. And we had to inaugurate a center in IIT called the Agni Shodh. And with the Chief of Army Staff and all that. I'll talk of it tomorrow with General Hari and Rajiv Narayanan and General Dushyant, because all of us were involved in this thing, and where is it going? But that's tomorrow. Let's come to today. We have to sit back, and look at it peacefully. Donald J. Trump is going berserk. And when he is going berserk, all his minions around him, Muller, yes, Scott Bessent, or Lutnick, all these chaps also will go berserk, because they're hardcore MAGA guys. So one has to step back and not give an emotional response. That's the first thing which I would like to put across. It's easy to say, oh, they said this and we had to do this and all that. But will that get us anything? I mean, it'll throw us off track. So the first is, before I go into why analyze Trump and what is he doing, what I want to put across is, let's see why India needs, or rather India's position should be in this context of India-US relations. You have to see it under the larger context of India-US relations. Okay, this is a strategic partnership between India and USA. India needs USA, and so does USA need India. That is why it's a strategic partnership. And we need India for many things. Okay, our position has been quite consistent wherever. US position was consistent till a few months back, and it changed. Why it changed, we'll come to it. So you're going through a period of heavy inconsistency at this point of time. But if you look at it over the broader timeline, this flip-flops between US and India have been, common. It's not new. The difference between earlier and now is that this flip-flop has become shrill. And Donald Trump has taken it personally. So there's a personal element involved, there's a national element involved from the US point of view. So we have to recognize that. So we have a choice what do you do? So let's look at the choices, and then I'll get back to this thing. So what do? You need to grow. You need a big economy with which you can partner, and grow ahead. Otherwise, you can't grow. Let's be very clear. And US is a huge market. There's no doubt about it. So you need both. So where do you look at? Can you go to Russia and start trading with them? No, Russia has got a limited economy, and it's still a wartime economy. It's more a commoditized economy. It sells commodities. So there's a limit to your trade with Russia. Is China an alternative? Well, that's fraught with complete danger. And I don't think anyone in his right senses will say China is the alternative. And though there are some people who say go to China, but you have to be very careful. Very, very careful. In fact, from my side, it's a non-starter almost. Right? So if that's almost a non-starter, because the issues involved we know are huge. We can discuss this separately. So that's no alternative. UK, EU have their own problems. Their economies are in the dumps. They're not exactly booming. They're in the dumps. Brazil, Global South, and all really don't, you know, offset America. Right. So you need America. Right. This problem is not going to go away easily. Might go away, but I don't see it going away easily because there's going to be a lot of leftover in this thing. And I'll come why Trump has done all this. The answers lies there, but I'll come a little later there. So, so in this context, you need America. Despite all the shrillness, the trade deal is not dead. We're still continuing. 25th, the team from USA is coming here to continue with the trade deal. So it's possible that Trump is negotiating and pressing India into some concession. What I don't think so. I think it's a little goes beyond that. Also, we are doing trade deals with others. We have done a trade deal with the UK. We are doing trade deals with EU. We are doing trade deals with many others. Yeah, overall, if you see, your growth is going to slow down, but it's not going to stop. So we should be prepared till this whole story is resolved to some extent. We will have some problems. After that, we'll recover. So this is going to be a temporary blip because I wouldn't say organizationally, structurally, everything. There is the fact that India is going to be the fastest growing economy in the world is not is immutable. Your growth might slow from 6.4 to 5.4%. But if that happens, relatively others will also go back, right? Relatively, you'll still retain that capacity to grow at the highest rate. And relatively, if we think we are the only one with problems with Trump, there are others also with problems with Trump, huge problems. So to some extent, you're swimming in the same pool with others, and to a large extent, you're in a standalone mode. Okay. Do you have a chance of pulling this back? I think so. And I'll come to that. Okay. So hence, whatever we talk of Trump trade deal and all, we need to take a long-term view, step back, don't get emotional, don't talk nonsense and back. And I think in that respect, the government of India has done a tremendous job. That what they put out, what even if we can read that out. What they put out in this is very, 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 very interesting, and it shows a mirror to USA and EU. And it very clearly says, look, this whole deal was agreed that India importing oil from Russia was a done deal based on international consensus. Because unless India took that oil, you don't stabilize the world markets, right?
Yes.
And and most of our refined petroleum is not consumed in India. That's the beauty. The refined petroleum from Russia goes to EU and US. The internal consumption of energy for India is from other suppliers. I mean, that's something which people need to understand. So it serves there. We cut imports from Russia. Who will suffer? EU and US. That's the first thing one must understand. So it's like biting your nose to spite your face.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing, in terms of the trade, Trump has said by buying oil from Russia, we are killing Ukrainians, and this is what India is doing, and all that nonsense. The fact is, EU is buying more in terms of value, LNG, than India. And so is US. Why is US buying uranium hexafluoride, UFO? It is buying to power its nuclear plants, otherwise you don't have energy. Right? Why are you buying palladium from them? You're because you need it in the EU. So if Ukrainians are being killed, and Russia is killing Ukrainians because India is giving them money and buying oil from them, well, can't US stop buying uranium hexafluoride? Or the EU stop buying LNG? Is it only our money which is killing Ukrainians? So it's not, right? So I think the what the External Affairs Ministry and India, it's a government of India response, is very clear, right? We put it out in a measured manner to all of them. Now it's up to them now to respond. And that threat is now at this point of time blocked. And that deal, 25th, the people are going to come here, if they come here. A lot of things are there. We have another 20 days to go. We'll see how this whole story moves. Now, I'm going to switch tracks and go back to what I said earlier. Why is Trump doing all this? Okay. And I felt, and I thought over this when you said yesterday, there are a lot of things involved. There are a lot of issues involved in this whole business. The first thing is, you know, Op Sindoor. The whole thing started with Op Sindoor. Trump is upset. Is Trump upset because of what we did in Kirana Hills? And something has happened in Kirana Hills. And it's put USA on the back foot, their nuclear issue in the back foot. That's one point, and he's very upset about it. So he had to stop that war. And now that having stopped that war, he had to get mileage out of it. So, and we rebutted him. We've rebutted him 30 times. I mean, he's mentioned it about 30 odd times, and we've rebutted him very pointedly. And even the prime minister has said on the floor of the house that no one spoke to him, no one told him to stop the war. And Trump is claiming. So it's a direct rebuttal, which has hit him badly. And he's desperate for a Nobel Prize. This whole story, that's why I said it's not just America, it's a personality also which is involved. Now that's not getting. Then you see there are other things. If you remember, 2 weeks back, and we spoke of it, the G7 meet was held in Canada.
Yeah.
Prime Minister was there. Then Trump spoke to him and said, "Why didn't you come tomorrow and meet me?" Like a mafia don. Okay. And Prime Minister said, "Take a walk." That's what the
In
sum
so
of
not
the.
in so many words, but yes, yeah.
I'm saying that some of the talk is this. I have other commitments. I'm going back. And his aim, see, Trump's motive was, oh, I have Munir with me. I'll have Modi with me. I'll have lunch and I'll get the Nobel Prize. Exchange of mementos will be through the Nobel Prize deal. So that didn't happen. And if you see the pattern, he announces tariffs, outrageous tariffs, and all those things against all countries. Then all the countries go to him, beg for a deal, and some deal is arrived at. That's the pattern which has happened. Whether it is with Japan, Korea, or Vietnam, or EU. So they've all their heads have gone to DJ Trump and said, "Yeah, sir, मेरे को माफ कर दो, मेरे को ये deal दे दो." And he's like a king given that deal. India has not done anything of that kind. Okay. So why India has not done? Well, India has its own strengths. This is not the first time we are under sanctions. And, I'll talk here. I think everyone must know. Way back in the 90s, early 90s, there's this company called Enron. Enron came to India to set up a power plant at a place called Dabol in Maharashtra. Oh, at that time we were energy deficient. Our reforms were just starting and all that, and the negotiations went on till about 93, 94. And 94 it came to you know stop. I mean, it hit a roadblock. The roadblock was on pricing. The roadblock was on pricing of the uh, power and what will be the this thing. And they put enormous pricing. So the government of India at that point of time said, no, we'll not take it. Sorry, we'll not accept this pricing. So that there was the CEO of Enron called Rebecca Mark. She came and she came threatened India. She said, we will ruin India at that time, 94, 95. And the entire lot of American industry and lobby, including from the White House, indications were given those days. Oh, yeah, we'll sort out India. What happened after that? Nothing happened. Dabol got closed. Now, I think they've resuscitated it through some other deal and things like that. But nothing happened to India. India continued to reform, India continued to grow, and India is where it is. What happened to Enron? One fine day, Enron vanished. They had to declare bankruptcy. Just 1 year after this. 1 year after this, they had to declare bankruptcy. Thereafter, it came to light that Enron was banking on this deal with India to bail itself out. And they'd cooked their books, yeah, all that, and Rebecca Mark was sent to prison. End of story. And we have continued to progress. Yeah, please.
Enron was thinking that they were creating cookbooks, but in effect, they were cooking the books. Back to you,
Books.
sir.
Yeah. So Enron vanished. Same thing, you don't have a deal, so what if? I mean, India won't vanish, and Donald Trump might vanish. That's a different story. Tomorrow he might have a heart attack and he'll go. India will not vanish, right? And after 4 years, anyway, Donald Trump will not be in the scene. In fact, after 2 years, 1 year more, I think by the end of this year he'll start losing power. It might be earlier if the job losses take place and inflation goes up in USA and all that. So he's getting frustrated also. You have to understand this frustration which is happening, and we have to understand that look, we need to be cool. We have other options. We can open options. Show him RIC, show him your deal with China, whether you arrive at a deal or not. You don't have to buckle to the whole and be ready. And after that, we've gone through so many sanctions. So many sanctions. Whether for the MTCR or for, what's that other one for S400? I'm forgetting. Every day the names change. They are this thing. And then there is a mistaken notion among some of these roughnecks in USA that they're the greatest still. I mean, Donald Trump thinks the greatest country on earth. So be it, yeah, you be great. I'm couldn't care a damn. America is actually not so great. There's no doubt about it. It might have a GDP which is great. That's about all. It doesn't have that influence. Right? Like, and I said, they need us, we need them. That's the next. Next, let's examine, because in this whole behavior, this is also a thing on behavioral psychology. See what happened between Russia and Ukraine, and I'll draw a similarity from there and get it here. When Trump came, he said, I'll stop this war in one day. What did he do? He called Zelensky and said, stop the war. And he berated him openly in public. Okay. And he said, just stop. And Putin put some conditions, and he said the territory will be with Russia. All those almost pre-done. The deal was they went and met in Dubai, Steve Witkoff and all those fellows to convince Putin to give up certain things. And then raw materials and critical minerals came into the deal and all that. Nothing happened. Then Donald Trump, in his exuberance to get the deal, after all, he's the man of deals. He felt that Russia will step back and all that, and he went and did a deal with Zelensky. The same person whom he berated, he went and did a deal. Then he went to G7 2 months back, 3 months back, Trump, and said Russia should also be in G7. It should be G8. Earlier it was G8, right? Why did you take it back? Get them back. And then all of a sudden he is now ranting against Putin. Says Putin doesn't move. He is not this thing, so he is backing Ukraine. Now he is getting frustrated how to sort out Russia. China is not backing off. India is not backing off. So he has to target someone. Otherwise, he doesn't get a deal in Russia also. He's not getting a deal with China. He's not getting a deal with India. So he feels amongst all these three, India has the softest mark. Okay, he's not read his history. India is not his thing, and there's no success anywhere. The only two people who have nominated him for Nobel Prize are who the Cambodian guy Hun Sen and Asim Munir. CD characters both. I'm sure the Nobel Peace Committee is a little more smarter than these two people and Trump's manipulations. Unless, of course, they capitulate, that's a different story. So, Trump has a habit of flip flopping. So, this could be part of a flip flop. I'll press them into a deal, they'll buckle. Hey, how do we respond? You have two choices. You buckle completely and go like everyone else and catch his feet and say, yeah, let's have a deal. And then he'll write a book called Art of the Deal or Part of the Deal, whatever it is. The other option is say, sorry, there's going to be counter, tariffs on you and we're going to do everything against you. That will put USA against you completely head on. Is that good for you? I don't think it's a good idea. In the first out of question, going to him. You still need USA. Let's not forget that long-term thing. Still need USA. So how do you do the middle path? You show him a mirror and say, "This is what you are. We know what you are. We know what you're talking of. So let's not fool each other, right?" And that has been done by the government of India already. And we have to now see whom do we talk to? Do we talk to Trump or the American businesses? If the American businesses, I'm sure many American businesses are not happy with what Trump is doing to them. So, is there a way of handling them? And we have to understand our leverage. Oh, there's no doubt that FDI is quitting China. And the alternative for them is only India left. They finished off whatever they can do in Vietnam, whatever they can do in Cambodia or other places, Malaysia and all. The only place which has a scale is India. They have no choice but to come to India. They have no choice. No one. They know it. Everyone knows it. So be patient. You might have short-term problems, but long-term things will happen. So you create alternatives other than Trump to speak to. In the process, you continue talking to Trump also. It's not as if you stop talking to Trump. And we also need to understand that, you have leverages. Our prime minister is going for the SEO meet in China, later this month or early next month. And there are issues there, which I'll do a separate podcast. India-China relations, right? So there are, because there you have built some leverages. Maybe tomorrow morning we'll talk of it. So there are leverages. For example, the Philippines president is here, Marcos, in India today. And interestingly, there are 3 warships in Philippines doing exercise in the middle of South China Sea contested areas. So there's something going on. You are building leverages against China simultaneously. While you are tackling now Trump, you're building leverages against China, and there are more. That is a whole topic differently. And so you're going to deal with China on different terms. And they also worried. It's not as if it's a one-way street that they can bully us. They also worried if Mr. Modi doesn't go for the SCO meet, it's a big slap on Xi's face. And if Mr. Modi has to go, they have to provide something back. We are interconnected. We are big powers. They're no more going to be tutu meme. I mean, we have to understand at what level we have to speak. We can't be like Pakistan. That you buckle to whatever Trump says or Xi Jinping says. And you keep rolling between the two. They can play football with you. No more. Sorry. India is different. You have leverages. And Russia is going to be quiet. Russia won't side China. Russia won't side USA. If anything, Russia will say, oh, look, India is doing all this. It's benefit to me. Because India is fronting for Russia today on many issues. I mean, it's a mutual thing. They also helped us. We have leverages. So when you build your leverages with China and build your relations with China, you must. We must. After all, it's our neighbor. It is not going to run away. 3,000 kilometers of Tibet border is not going to run away. You have to deal with them. There's a trade imbalance with them. You need some of their FDI. So there are hard realities. You have to be realistic in how you deal with it. Without but it's a way tougher way to handle China, but you have to handle. Let's live to that, or let's live to that reality. But in doing that, you showed Trump, look, I have other options. The point is, while you're going to do a difficult uh, talk with China, USA should know that we are doing this difficult talk and we are prepared to do it. And I'm sure our diplomacy will do it. So far, we have not shown that. We have not done that, right? One. The second thing is, even later September, I think Trump is to come to India for the Quad. So will he come? Not come. If he doesn't come, the Quad goes. Thank you. If the Quad goes, who loses? Indo-Pacific.
US.
US. Can US afford to lose India in the Indo-Pacific area? The containment of China still remains Trump's hidden, I won't say hidden agenda, agenda number one. That's there right from the time he took over as the president. That agenda has not slipped out. That's his agenda number one. Peer competitor, basic threat, all these nonsense they've spoken of. So if he loses India, thank you, they lose China also. And they're not going to contain China after that. So this whole story is uh, entangled in many layers. There are many layers to it. There are many issues to it and all that. So if that is the story, you know, we have to be confident of what you're going to do. One more issue I'll pick up. Can USA twist India's tail? I'm talking this harshly. Can they twist India's tail? I don't think so. And why? You see, we are a consuming economy as opposed to a producing economy or an exporting economy like Japan, Germany, South Korea, and China. They can get hit, or Vietnam. Why did Vietnam run to USA and said, whatever you say, I will take? Because they are a transshipment economy. They're not bothered. If anything gets transshipped to them, they will put that and say, yeah, you pay the tariff. I will make my middleman. They're only middlemen. They're not, right? So they're all prepared. I mean, they have no choice. Their market is USA, and USA is closing its market. We are not so. We are a problem. We have a problem. What we consume, we don't get also. Okay. So they can't do anything to us. Okay. Then there is another layer of India-US relations which people don't understand. I mean, it's not understand, they don't realize. Incidentally, there are 1,800 global capacity centers in India of US businesses and European businesses. 1,800. And this is an official figure which is there. And these are all spread between, largely between Hyderabad and Bangalore, and some in Chennai, some in Delhi. There are 1.9 million people, 1.9 million people employed in this gambit. What do they do? The complete tech is being developed. Once it used to be offshoring, or India was a back office for USA. It's no more. There might be back office operations going on. I'm not saying no. But today you're developing technology for these countries, or for USA. I'll take the example of Microsoft. Microsoft has three great hubs: one in USA, one in India, and one in China, and some in other places also. And these hubs are at par. Some of the products get made here and get shipped out from here. So the status of India has changed. It is no more. If he says tomorrow India says, okay, if that is the case, whatever you produce here is at a cost, or makes life difficult for Microsoft and others. Like it did make my life difficult for Microsoft. Recently When Microsoft cut off services to Nayara, they went to the court, and the court within the and others also, I think Reddit for Reddit came and said, we'll do it at half the cost. Within a day, Microsoft withdrew because they were violating Indian law.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if he tries all these stunts, oh well, we also have stunts to try. We have also, and these stunts, what we can do, not do everything. Oh, we've done it to the Chinese. You read Chinese media, they're worried. Yeah, you go to India, they'll get after you. All these mobiles, Oppo, Shoppo, and all these steps went off. So there are layers to this problem. We have our strengths, we have our problems. Similarly, US has its viewpoint, but it has its necessities. And if the trade deal fails, it is against Trump. Part of the deal is not part of his deal. So I think in any negotiation, there is a give and take. Trump wants to only take. He's not wanting to give, right? And that's no art of the deal. What he's trying to do is bully people into threatening them and coercing them into doing something. I don't think India will do that. I mean, I have complete confidence that it will become a cropper. So I think these are the main macro issues one has to consider when you say this Trump threat and all that. I mean, my way of looking at it, it's largely a negotiating tactic. The negotiations are still on. Yeah, there is a tinge of playing Pakistan and all that. And they have to realize India can't be a Pakistan or a China. It's not. India is India. Okay. We are getting ahead with FTAs with other countries. We have to realign trade. It's a good thing that you realign trade, and when America comes back into your focus, expand with them also. Now, another issue, despite all this business of exports and all the tariffs and all, exports from India will still remain the cheapest. I mean, we have to understand the thing. What get exported from India to USA? Major textile and apparel, pharmaceuticals, auto industries, auto components, steel, aluminum products, solar equipment, and things like that. Now, if think, and of course, your electronics, mobiles, Apple. Now, Apple, you put tariff on Apple. Apple is an American company here, and Apple is there. So Apple is tariffing themselves only. Or for that matter, drugs. Oh, drugs are so costly in USA. Even if you put 25% tariff on drugs, it will still be cheap, right? And unless of course they buy it from other countries where the drug thing is not certified, the American companies will make money on Indian drugs, even with all these tariffs. If they don't get petroleum products, who will suffer? Americans will suffer. We are not selling, copycat Louis Vuitton bags to them. You are selling items to America which they need. Okay, let's take the reverse. America wants to, what can America export to us? Defense equipment. Well, we don't need the F-35, as simple as that. Thank you. Keep your F-35 there. We don't need Striker. We don't need Javelins. We don't need many things. Keep it there. As it is, you are unreliable. Your F414 engines have not come in time. We paid for it. We paid for the efficiency, you're not given it time. So you have an adequate scope to say first make good your contracts before you think of another contract. So the leverages are huge. I mean, one has to look. You'll agree with me. We've started with those two, one tweet and our response. And as you
Right.
zoom out of the whole equation, the screen is becoming wider and there are more angles to this whole story. So I will put it this way: we don't have to worry beyond a point. We'll do what we have to do. Be patient. We've shot this arrow. We've done the counter. We've done the counter. and a very measured counter, and you've shown a mirror to Europe and America so that they don't moralize. You have to do a bit of, after this, a certain more amount of strategic communication or media channels, this, that, and all. People have to go into their media and tell them, look, this is the reality, so that people in America also come to know. People need to know. And I also see there is a large contingent in America who feel that, look, what Trump is doing is not right. It's not coming out, it'll come out. It's sooner or later. There's not going to be an affair, it'll die out. What I see, the end story is, can India-US relationship with Trump be as it was when Mr. Modi went to USA? That is gone. What Trump has destroyed is that, uh, I would say, strategic trust we had in USA, or which was exhibited in USA when Mr. Modi went to meet Mr. Trump. There was a lot of euphoria. But then I look at it another way. One of the highlights of that visit was Elon Musk coming and meeting Mr. Modi with his entire family. Okay. Poor Elon Musk itself is thrown out. So ठीक है, मोदी जी को जो किया इसने अभी वो भी ठीक है. So this is how Trump behaves. He's seasonal and everything. So let's be balanced in the way we handle it. Right. I think we've covered a whole lot of things, and we can tell them, look, ultimately, if Trump continues, we'll be part of the RIC. And thanks to USA. Is that acceptable to the USA? Some sense will come in at some point of time. So this is what I thought we had to say. You have any questions, or then others we can take it on?
No, I think you made
You
it very
also.
clear, sir. This is not any emotional response. This is a well measured. You've looked at all the data, and I think we are trying to be the voice of reason here. Both need each other. Come on now, get this deal done. That's the whole point here. So we have a few questions from our viewers, sir. If you
Yeah,
don't mind,
please.
yeah. Let's have the questions, please. Krish Subramanian 9703. Sir, is Trump trying to engineer regime change and wants Modi out? It also appears he thinks Putin will listen to Modi and no one else.
I don't think there's any regime change attempt. The regime change attempt came during the elections. You can't do regime change in India. So that's, don't even think of it. And I don't think he has such great ideas that Putin will listen to Modi and all that, no one else. I don't think he has. Look, you must understand, he's a bit of a guy who thinks only he's the great man in the world and others are all fools. Yeah.
Next one, please. Sir, it seems there is something else that Trump wants. It's not the Russian oil that's the main issue. Sid
Yeah,
wants to
he
know.
wants a Nobel Prize. Yeah, as simple as that.
That's not in
He wants a
India's
Nobel
hands,
Prize.
though.
Huh? He wants
That's
Nobel
not in
Prize. He
India's
wants.
hands. India
No,
wants it
no,
too.
no. Nobel Prize he will get if India endorses it.
Pawan Kishore wants to know who are better for Indian Republicans or Democrats? Are Republicans now a deep state, and can they indulge in similar tactics of using NGOs in India to create internal disturbance?
No, I don't think. I think all those days are gone. It's no more there at all, the way I look at it. Mm, you know, maybe 3, 4 years back, all this we could have spoken of. Sorry, NGOs and all don't have limit. India has its own problems. We have our own issues with NGOs, yeah, with their own agendas. And we'll deal. We have got used to it. As far as Republicans and Democrats are concerned, both are equally good or equally bad. And that's what they have proven over a period of time.
Right. Next one, please. Manov-san wants to know, is this all really charade over Trump's Epstein file scandal? He also claimed to send nuke subs near Russia. Isn't it about creating new headline dramas to keep Epstein story out of headlines?
Possible. Shree Iyer ji, I have one little question. This thing. You mind? We
Yeah.
can cut it short. I have to leave somewhere in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll close it. Yeah,
Yeah. We'll take
we'll
just
take some
one
more.
more question, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll take it one at a time because sometimes
yeah,
the
yeah.
question answers could be a little bit long. Srinivas Kambapati wants to know, salute General Ravi Shankar, Namaste Sree Iyer. USA grew when the entire world was down after Second World War. India grew slow and steady and more focused from 1991. Your views, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is our time to grow. So I don't see any problem. You have to be patient. You have to be patient. That's about all. And focused.
John Doe wants to know, how does India make up the shortfall then? Can't buy from Russia, then US should provide and subsidize at the cost we get from Russia. Otherwise, there's a double hit for India.
No, I don't think we should do either. There's no way of cutting off from Russia. There's no way. It's a privileged strategic partnership with Russia. We don't know whether tomorrow USA will stand with us or not, whether China will stand with
Correct,
us or
correct,
not. Russia
correct.
will. Let me underline it. You see, this S-400, one of the stipulations we put on when we bought S-400 was that it will not be sold to China or Pakistan. And the Russians have stuck to that. They're not got. Just think if China had got S-400, where would we be? So we should be very clear as to where we are thinking. Yeah.
But this is
It's not a
news to
matter of
me.
oil.
I thought, sir, this is news to me. I thought China also got S-400s. I have remembered reading some articles
S-300.
about how they
S-300.
got it
Sorry.
ahead of India.
No.
Yeah.
They have got S-300, not 400. And they called it S-400, but their capabilities were far lesser.
Read between the lines.
Yeah.
Abraham J. 2280 wants to know, what economic impact could increased tariffs have on both the US and India?
Both the economies will get wrecked, as simple as that. Tariffs are going to wreck everyone. And you're not the only one. It's happening in China, it's happening in Philippines, it's happening in US, everyone.
Right.
UK, EU.
This is the last question.
Yeah.
Jack simplifies. Trump tantrums, will they drive India into RIC? India building leverages with all EU, US, China, and using the global south as a key piece. Is transactional politics a new reality?
Transactional politics has not a new reality, it's an old reality. Okay. Especially because we don't go into alliances with anyone. We have always been transactional in the way we have been doing things. That's the first point. Even with Russia, we were transactional at some point of time. Okay. It's not as if everything is hunky dory with Russia. So we have to be transactional, especially if you're looking at strategic autonomy. Will RIC be formed? I don't visualize. But can the threat of RIC being formed as a leverage? Yes, it can. Okay. And let's be very clear, I've explained to you all the leverages which India can build. It's how you maneuver things now. If you get a deal, all this will go back. So all these are issues which are still um, in the pipeline. I think we'll get a clarity of all this maybe by end of the month. Till
Yes,
then, we
indeed.
should
And
stay cool.
thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar. And viewers, will be back with the three good generals on Thursday, assuming that everybody is in their respective studios. And we'll have more such informative discussions with General Ravi Shankar. Today, unfortunately, the other two good generals could not make it. It was a very, very rushed timepiece that we had put together this program. Thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar. You took time out from the early morning schedule, and I know you have to go somewhere. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar. See you on Thursday.
Namaskar and thanks a lot.